anything formal planned for you all today, but I figured that I would start by putting myself back where you all are today, which is at a varying stage of being somewhere in your college career, and trying to think about what it is you may want to do when you graduate from ENC, whether or not that brings you to continuing education or whether that brings you out to finding your first quote-unquote real job and full-time job, and whether it's in the area of study that you're in now or whether it's something completely different. So I actually started off my undergrad thinking I wanted to go to law school. So marketing was never anything that I knew anything about. It wasn't a career per se for individuals back in the day that they would go into unless you were in advertising and you were truly a creative artist type that would be able to go into an agency. So I started off as a poli-sci major over at BC, and I quickly learned that going that route was not really what I wanted to do. So I started taking a few other different classes, and it wasn't until my senior year when I was eligible to take an elective, and I took an elective in marketing. And I had absolutely no idea what it was about. But after my second week in the class, I said, where has this been the last 4 years that I have been on this campus? Because I immediately fell in love with it. And what really intrigued me the most about marketing is that marketing is something that's intrinsic in your life in absolutely everything that you do, everything that you see, every experience that you have. So when you all were making that search for what school fit your needs, what school was the best school for you, there was marketing that was going on behind the scenes. You know, Scott and his group, they go out there and they actively market Eastern Nazarene. So they're marketing the experience, they're marketing the students that are here, they're marketing the academics, they're marketing the area. So in many ways, they're helping me in my job at the Chamber market the city of Quincy, because we in turn can say, we have 2 colleges here in our city, of which one is a wonderful 4-year college at ENC. So I quickly found that anything that you pick up, any magazine, any commercial, any billboard, there's meaning behind it all. There are people that are there behind the scenes that are creating that experience for you, the end consumer. And that there's a lot that goes into it. So immediately said I love marketing. Graduated, had absolutely no idea really what direction that I should go in, but I knew I wanted to be in some kind of a creative department. My first job right out of the gate was at John Hancock in Boston, and I was fortunate to be in a really small department in their international operations department, and I was the assistant to the director of marketing. So at the time, you know, coming out of 4-year school, my parents, you know, put in quite a bit of money for me to go there. And actually my official title coming out was secretary. I was the secretary of the director of marketing. And I can remember my dad saying to me, really? You're gonna, you know, with a BC degree, that's, you know, and I said, but this is really what I want to do. And I want to get myself in and immerse myself and learn as much as I possibly can. It was the absolute best thing that I ever could have done, because I was hired by someone who became my mentor. And my mentor, Rob, was, you know, talk about a marketing guru. This guy knew his stuff. He was really instrumental at getting John Hancock at the time to become a major corporate sponsor of the Olympics. So we, kind of as a dynamic duo, had an opportunity to do a lot of work with corporate John Hancock in bringing, you know, the branding of John Hancock with the Olympics and kind of getting involved in all of that. So that was, for me, baptism by fire. That was, you know, you're talking about marketing an event on a global scale and being a major sponsor. It was an awesome experience for me. So back when I was involved initially in marketing, all the stuff that is innate to all of you, everything that you all have grown up with in terms of social media and technology and all of that was non-existent. So my world, and Scott's nodding his head, my world of marketing was print. Okay? Things were done in print, they were done on radio. The web didn't exist at the time. So the major way that you communicated with people was to either get them something physical in their hand, mailed to, visible that they could see, whether it's an ad or whether it's a billboard, or this kind of stuff. So getting out there and talking about the different programs and different things that we had at John Hancock was absolutely our biggest form of marketing to get the word out about who we were. And as I started to move through my career, John Hancock was a wonderful organization in that regard because it's a big company and you had the ability to really move around. So I kind of jumped around in my 13 years that I was there in different departments and always in marketing. So I moved up from one to the other to eventually I ended up heading up a marketing communications group very specific for one of the product lines. It was called Group Long-Term Care Insurance. So it's long-term care, which is usually associated with the elderly or people that are in need of nursing home care or home health care. We sold it at the group level. So what that meant was if Ford Motor Company wanted to have long-term care insurance as part of their employee benefits, our team are the ones that implemented that. And I was responsible for all the marketing collateral and communications for that entire product line for the company. So through that, you know, I had different folks that worked with me. So marketing, from that perspective, is marketing communications. I don't have a background in advertising. Advertising is a very specific field. Some would say it's parallel to marketing, some would say it's entwined in marketing, but advertising agencies that solely focus on delivering the message, coming up with the copy. Do you guys know what copy is? Copy is the text. So if I refer to copy, it's that written word that goes along with whatever it is that you're looking at. They pitch to their clients. They pitch their ideas. Half the time what I get the biggest kick out of is when I'm watching a commercial that I actually know that behind the scenes there were many, many, many people that were involved in approving that commercial, and I can't tell you 9 times out of 10 I'm like, who thought that was a good idea? Somebody thought that was good. How did they come up with that? And then there's a whole, there's a whole other side to marketing too, which is, marketing strategy, which is you don't actually execute, so you're not actually doing the design work, you're not actually, maybe putting together the plan, but you're sitting down and you're strategizing with a company about what their needs potentially are. So that was eventually what I ended up after I was with John Hancock for 13 years. I was absolutely blessed with twin girls. So I decided to take some time off and stay home with my girls who are now juniors in high school. It's crazy. And as such, I did a few different things because I can't sit still. So I'm not the type of person to just kind of sit at home, but I also wanted to balance being home with my girls. So I started a marketing consulting company and focused primarily on marketing strategy, specifically for small businesses. So really looking at that small business owner that's trying to go through whatever issues they have in starting a business and really helping them identify what the steps were that they needed to get from point A to point B to actually getting launched. So from there, I had a couple of other varied jobs, and I'm gonna, bring it up to 7 years ago when I was hired by the Quincy Chamber of Commerce, which at the time was actually branded under a different name. It was branded under Quincy 2000 Collaborative. And I came on board as a director of marketing for that organization as well as for tourism for the city of Quincy. So to some extent I still maintain that role, although as Elizabeth said I'm the vice president of the chamber now, but I'm still involved in pretty much everything that we do that has to do with marketing. So marketing the city of Quincy is different. Marketing the chamber is different. And within each one of those I have different facets of who I need to market to. So for instance, for the chamber, I need to market the chamber itself as an organization for companies to identify with and to hopefully come on board as a member. So I have that level of marketing that I'm doing. So I'm trying to do some work with our sales team and helping them develop sales collateral to really help bring new membership to the chamber itself. And then secondarily, I have this other layer of marketing, which is now marketing all the events and everything that the chamber does. So I manage the website, I do any of the print collateral, I do social media for it. And so social media itself has really taken on such a huge role for companies and individuals right now that I don't even really separate it anymore. It used to be marketing and social media. Social media is marketing now. However, one thing that I will say, and I don't know if Scott as a peer will agree or not, I'm seeing that so many companies and businesses think that social media is the only way to market because they consider it free. But there are always going to be those individuals that you need to touch and to reach with a different medium. So not everyone, depending on your target market, but for us, even with our chamber membership, we have 580 members. We send out a constant contact e-newsletter. Consistently, we get a 33% open rate, which is actually pretty good, even though I would love to see it at 60%. If you look at industry standards, they say on average between 30 and 40% of an open rate of someone's email. So let's round it up to 40%. 60% of my audience is not opening or reading or getting the message that we're trying to send. So we relied solely on electronic media for those folks. If we only relied on Facebook postings and Twitter postings, we're missing a huge segment of our target market in our membership. So to supplement that, from a cost perspective, we need to be creative in how do we do things and do them, fairly inexpensively. We now do a postcard mailing once a month to our entire membership that gives them an outline of everything that we have going on, because we know we need to reach those people in some other facet. So pure old direct mail, postcard mailing, and that works for us, for our organization. We supplement it with some printed newsletters and some other things that we do, but social media really needs to be part of a marketing strategy, in my opinion, and not just the sole piece that you decide to use. So how many of you guys have taken a marketing class here at ENC or been exposed to it all? So is it all part of your core requirements for it, as part of your business program? What did you think? What did you think when you took a marketing class? What did you expect, I guess, and what did you get out of it?
I didn't really have any expectations, but it was really good. A lot of strategies I learned.
They teach you to kind of like see things a little bit differently, and now if you look at stuff and you realize there's a whole lot that went into the packaging, the pricing, the promotion of these little plastic, napkin
Every
holders.
little thing has a reason as to why it's a certain way.
Exactly. Or you hope there's a reason. Someone came up with one and convinced someone it was the right one. So, anybody else take a class, Manny?
It helped getting the idea behind the product and the way of approaching the market. Because every time before the class I used to view as a consumer. After the class it helped me the perspective of the seller as a marketing person, how you would view the product and how you would present it to the market.
Exactly. Which is great. One of the things, and Manny interned with us over at the Chamber at the Innovation Center. One of the things that we find a lot, and we have people that are just coming in, they're either just starting a business or they've been around for maybe a year or so and they're trying to grow their business a little bit more, is when you sit down with them and you talk with them about their business plan and you ask them, where's your marketing budget? It's like, my what? My marketing budget? No, I have money in here for, for rent or for my physical product or for this. But no, that's going to be word of mouth. I'm just going to do, Facebook page, and we're going to tweet about it, and we're going to do whatever. To me, it's almost like you can see ahead and say, they're going to come to me 6 months from now, and they're going to say, where are those customers that I thought that I was going to get, and why aren't they coming to me? Factoring in funds for marketing is so vitally, vitally important. And like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you're taking out a paid ad in the Quincy Sun or in the Patriot Ledger. We just had our business expo last Thursday evening up at the Marriott. So we had 80 businesses that were showcased there, where they had a table and they were able to have their materials out and they could talk one-on-one with people that came by. That's marketing. That is the best kind of marketing, in my opinion, because you're putting yourself right face-to-face in front of a potential consumer, and you can actually have a dialogue with them, a conversation with them. So that, doing events like that, getting out, that's all part of your marketing budget. $275, and somebody gets in front of, 300 plus people. We had our guest speaker at our annual meeting was Johnny Earl, who owns Johnny Cupcakes t-shirts. Any of you guys familiar with Johnny Cupcakes? Some of you, yes. I mean, his story I found to be so ridiculously inspirational, because as a young kid, he was like the entrepreneur like crazy. I think he was 8 years old, he was saying, and he would do magic shows and perform at kids' birthday parties for $20 for half an hour doing magic tricks. And every time that, you know, that wore thin or his school got upset with him, he would find something else to do. He just had kind of one of those very creative minds. And it was a really interesting story that he shared with us all, that his very first real trade show, which cost him $10,000 to be a part of, and in the retail industry, going to a trade show like that means you're putting yourself out in front of your buyers. So you're putting yourself out in front of your major retailers, as he indicated, like Nordstrom's and Macy's and your big ones, they're there. Those organizations all have buyers within them that kind of go out and scour what the next best thing is going to be that they want to bring into their store. And he got orders from that show, from some big names. And he had to take a step back and say to himself, you know, why do other companies kind of fizzle out? Why do they score really big and they're a big bright star, and then that star burns out really, really quickly? And he determined it's because of oversaturation in the market. So he determined that once he becomes a commodity, once his product is saturated in the marketplace, and you can pick it up and you can get a Johnny Cupcakes t-shirt pretty much, you know, in every other store at the mall, then it doesn't become unique. So his marketing position, his branding, was that he wanted to be a unique experience for the consumer. And he really felt that if he were to do that, it would limit his ability to create that experience. And he was young, and he was turning down some pretty big money, but he did it. And he said, I'm staying independent, I'm following my core mission, my core brand, which is to create an experience for an individual. So the way that he markets his business is he creates events around them. So if he's doing a specialty launch, he'll have, you know, people in costume, he'll have limited edition things, he creates hype around it so that the individual is getting an experience. So for him, that's his market. He's never done traditional print marketing. However, would you say he doesn't have a marketing budget? No, because it costs money to throw on an event like that. It costs money to do limited edition things. It costs money to kind of get the interest in there. So he just did it about a sort of a non-conventional way. And then the final piece of marketing that I'll touch a little bit on is public relations, or PR. So public relations is when you are putting out information about your business, yourself, out into the world so that you're hoping that the media will pick up on. So again, people often refer to PR as free marketing. Nothing's free. Nothing is free. It's not a paid advertisement, that's true, but there's still a lot that goes behind what you put into a press release. And we'll get people, members actually, that will say, you know, we held a raffle and they want to print up in the Quincy Sun about it, or they want to get printed up, and how do we get our name out there? An editor at any newspaper on any given day, if they were to print their emails and print their attachments, would probably get a stack about this big every single solitary day of people wanting stories printed. And the biggest thing that I know, and it's a total skill for somebody to be in PR, which is not my field either, is that you need to have a creative proposition. You need to make your story unique. You need to be able to hook that editor, hook that reporter, sell them the story so that you're making their job easier, because you're handing them the story and they have to pitch it to their editor. So you have to make it so that they're like, this is different. This is what's unique about what you're doing versus what the person next door is doing, and it makes it entertaining. So PR is not, you know, it's, you put stuff out there, and you might put out 30 press releases and you may get one story that gets picked up, and that's a success, that's a score, but not every single thing is ever going to get picked up, and it's a constant thing you need to do. So, and that's PR. But I don't know how I'm doing for time, or I ramble a lot. Anybody have any questions for me, or interest in anything that we're doing, or you have absolutely no idea why you're here, and Elizabeth's trained you here? All I can say is it's a great field. I love it, and it can take you in so many different places and so many different directions and facets. And it, as technology changes and as this generation and your generation has shown, it's something that there's always something fresh to stay on top of. You know, who would have thought that Pinterest would ever become a marketing tool for a business? Whoever thought, you know, if you were to ask me that 4 months ago, you know, would a business use a Pinterest page? It's like, no, I use it because I bookmark recipes and stuff that I like. But there are now major retailers that all have Pinterest pages and Instagram, and you know, that's a whole other thing. But they're going where their audience is, and they're finding a creative way to do it. Are you raising your hand because you have a question?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Okay. Yes, Professor
So
Driscoll.
you've been upstairs on the 3rd floor
Yeah.
at the Innovation Center since roughly September 1st, I think.
Yes.
How's it going? What's going on? For those in the crowd don't know.
Yeah, oh yeah, thank you for that. I'll tell you guys a little bit about the Innovation Center. ENC has been the most generous and gracious partner with the Quincy Chamber, in that we are on the 3rd floor over at 180 Old Colony Ave, encompassing pretty much the whole space up there. And the Innovation Center itself was started by the Quincy Chamber to really help economic development and to help businesses that wanted to grow and wanted to start. So somebody that has, I was just talking to Nathan, somebody that has an idea for a business and they don't quite know where to go, how to get it launched, how to get it started. They want to be around like people that are doing something similar to themselves, and to provide them not only the workspace to do it, so to the physical desk, computer, cubicle, whatever it is that they require, but more importantly, to give them the resources that they need. So we bring in experts from every field. So we have people that are legal experts, we have attorneys, we have CPAs, we have marketing professionals, we have general business counselors that will come in and sit with you and work with you through your business plan, through your execution, to helping with some funding avenues, and to get them ready to actually pitch their product to the world, to try to get it launched. So it's a collaborative work environment, meaning that the people that are there kind of bounce ideas off of each other and share ideas with each other. We don't want just to rent space to a real estate agent that wants to pay $100 to be there as opposed to $600 in a one-room office in Quincy Center. We really, truly have innovators that are up there, and we now have 17 companies that are there that we're working with, and they range, they run the gamut from someone that's doing a crowdsourced funding platform, and they're getting that all launched, to some folks that work in the healthcare industry that try to connect and bring healthcare providers together. We have a nonprofit organization that is bringing change and education to children in Tanzania in the form of a retrofitted school bus, and they're looking for funding for that. So they really run the gamut, and it's a pretty cool place to be. Yes, we have our whole candy bar with M&Ms. It's all free, and ping pong and foosball and all that good stuff to keep the creative juices flowing. That's why me and he love to intern with us. He likes the foosball table. But it's a fabulous environment, and it gets me excited because I get a chance to really be around inspirational people that, you know, are following their dream. And many of them are full-time, you know, employees somewhere, and then they're there at the center after work, or they're there on the weekends working at what they hope is the next big thing for them. So it's a pretty cool place. So you guys are welcome anytime anybody wants to. If you have a class in the building downstairs and you just want to come on up and see what we're all about, we're very casual and very welcoming, so we'd love to have you guys come up and check us out. Be there. Thanks for that, Bill. Anything else? Okay, so you all took marketing. Who's gonna tell me what the 4 Ps are?
Price, product, placement.
Got it. Very good. All right. That's my spiel. I'm sticking with it. You're welcome.